I managed to finish my jump, skied to the bottom of the hill, and I collapsed. I found that I couldn't bend forward in order to stand up. Our physical therapist came over to me and said, "Nikki, what's wrong?" I said, "This muscle spasm's back. Give me a little time to see if it'll calm down." Well, half an hour went by very quickly, and he came back over to me and said, "There's 5 minutes left of training. What do you want to do?" And I looked him straight in the eyes, and I said, "I want to jump." He literally had to pick me up onto my feet because I couldn't bend forward myself. I went back to the top of the hill, and this time with tears streaming down my face, I went and took another jump. And this time when I hit the apex of the jump, it felt like I had 10 knives stabbing me in my lower back. And it's a type of pain that would normally drop someone to their knees. And I was 35 feet in the air, upside down. Well, I found it's lucky that your body goes into autopilot when your life is in jeopardy. Because I don't know how, but I managed to get around to my feet, and I collapsed right on impact and slid to the bottom of the hill. And I found I couldn't move more than 2 inches in any direction. Actually, I had to stay in Europe for 3 days because I couldn't even stand long enough to get on a plane to go home. And when I finally did get home, I went and saw doctor upon doctor upon doctor. And each of the doctors told me that the injury I had wasn't a muscle spasm. It was something called internal disc disruption. And they said, imagine take an egg, shaking up that egg, and the inside of it becomes scrambled. And the outside of it stays intact, although it has some cracks in it and it's leaking fluids. Well, this is what I did to 2 of the discs in my lower back. And every single one of the 10 doctors I saw said, "Nikki, you're going to have to face it. You're never doing aerials again. In all likelihood, you may never even ski again." And it was devastating for me. So I tried every exercise and procedure possible. I had acupuncture, massage therapy, physical therapy, water therapy. I had a chair that would try to stretch out my back to alleviate some of the pressure. I had 3 6-inch needles injected into my back to try to rejuvenate those discs. And I even went to the point where they were going to burn the nerves in my back so I wouldn't feel the pain anymore. Because I couldn't sit for more than half an hour and I couldn't stand for more than 15 minutes. And I actually took a mattress into my living room so I could go beyond my bedroom every day. And I cried every day for almost 9 months straight. And I started to fall into a deep depression. And a lot of people wondered if I'd ever be able to snap back from this because it really seemed to be taking a toll on me. And about 9 months into this injury, I was looking through a closet, and I found an old backpack in the back of the closet. And in the bottom of the backpack, I found a little orange card. And it was the card that was given to me when I was a young gymnast, and it was the poem, "You Mustn't Quit." And it was out now wrapped with Scotch tape because it was so old, but I still kept it with me. And I'd like to share part of it with you today because we all go through those challenging times. You mustn't quit. You mustn't quit. When the road you're trudging seems all uphill, you want to smile, but you have to quit. Care if you must, but you mustn't quit. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems afar. So stick to the fight when your hardest hit. It's when things seem worse that you mustn't quit. On top of finding that poem, I found a picture of a man named Joe Frazier. And I actually had it laminated because it was so wrinkled in my pocket. And Joe Frazier won a gold medal in boxing. And many people know about his gold medal, but they don't know that he did it with a broken fist. And I figured if this man could come back and fight with a broken fist, he needs his fist for boxing as much as I need my back for jumping. So if he could come back from this, why couldn't I? And it gave me the renewed fire to start looking for doctors again. And I kept that poem and this picture with me in my pocket every day. And it helped me find a doctor in Boston, Massachusetts, who told me that I could come back from this injury, but it was going to take a lot of work, and it was going to be a big risk, and it was going to be incredibly painful. Because what he had me do was lift heavy weights to help build up the muscles in my back to support those injured discs. But in the process, I could blow out those discs completely, and it was going to be incredibly painful. And the one thing that helped me get through it was a quote by General George S. Patton. When I was in that excruciating time in the gyms, and I felt like I don't know if I could get through this, I would share a quote that said, "Success is how high you bounce after you hit rock bottom." And I asked myself, and I ask you, if success is how high you bounce after you hit rock bottom, do you want to have a soft outer shell, or do you want a hard outer shell? And I used to take my super ball with me every time I went to the gym, and I'd bounce my super ball, and it gave me that visual reminder to be strong and that no obstacle was too big for me to overcome.